in this video I will show you how I use OneNote as my personal knowledge system, and I will explain why would you want to use a personal knowledge system in the first place. So you probably read a lot of articles on the internet, you listen to podcasts, you read ordinary books, but retention of all of this is very low. You probably don't remember almost anything from the podcasts. From the books, you only have general impressions, and articles, of course, you can find them, but not always. And for example, if you want to reference something you read on the internet a year ago, then you will have to come up with keywords, you will have to Google it, and you rely on this and you basically rely on Google, but also you rely on the fact that this article is still up on the internet, which is frequently not the case. For example, Slate Star Codex author Scott Alexander actually had another blog prior to Slate Star Codex, but he deleted it, and now you cannot search it. And if you tried to reference something from that blog, you would not be able to do this unless you had it saved somewhere. So this is the most important reason for using a knowledge system. And I use OneNote. I actually switched from Evernote, and I like OneNote the most. It's organized around notebooks. So right now we're in the social sciences notebook in the anthropology section, and I will show you this page, Improving but Not Learning by Doing, which is basically just a clipped blog post from Marginal Revolution, which I thought was important. And because of the OneNote's freeform structure, I can insert whatever I want on the page, and here to the right of the post you can see a comment which I saw on Reddit which I thought was important, and I just pasted it here. And I can actually write anything on the page, and like if I want to comment this highlight, I can write something here or insert a picture or a file or anything else. Okay, now let's take a look at my book highlights. So we'll navigate to Learned 2018, The Big Short by Michael Lewis. So I have these book highlights. Next to them I have a thought I had, and then also I have Twitter clippings. And again, like, this enriches my book reading experience a lot, I find. Or for example, when I read Archipelago Gulago, I exported my highlights, and then I started to fact check the book, and I found a couple of articles which strongly dispute its claims, and I also pasted them here, so now it's all in one place. And let's move on to podcasts. So my podcast retention is really, really low. So what I do is when I hear something interesting on a podcast, I write down a bullet into a Google Keep note, and then I transfer them to this file, podcast bullets, with the most important points. And I also wanted to show you the search functionality of OneNote. So OneNote is amazing in that it indexes everything. So for example, the first post that I showed you from Marginal Revolution, so it was about anthropology and history, right? So we can type X history, X anthropology, and now we can see that I have only 3 articles that share these tags, and here we have this article. Now I will show you how to get started with OneNote. Of course, you download the app itself, then you need to install the web clipper, and when you open the app, it's clean. And suppose now I'm browsing my favorite R Slate Star Codex, and I see that marginal revolution article on it. I click on the article and I read it. I decide that it's pretty good. Then I click on OneNote extension and it automatically parses the article. I highlight something and then I decide that I want to put it into quick notes and I clip it. And alternatively, you could, if web clipper doesn't function too well, you could try to select stuff and clip selection to OneNote. So clip selection, and now I have just this selected text, which I can now tag X history, X anthropology. I can add some comments and then clip. And now I go to the OneNote app. I will force sync it. And the articles should appear shortly. Okay, so now we have both of these articles. Here's this clipped selection, which I will delete now. And here's the original full article. And suppose I'm reading the R Slate Star Codex comments, and I decide that this comment is particularly good and very relevant, and I copy it and paste it here. And now I have both my article and the comment, and OneNote automatically put the source of the clip here. And that's mostly it. Now I have one more trick, which is if I want to return to this article sometime from now, I can do this via tab snooze extension. So this kind of emulates Anki, and if I think this is particularly important, I can just press someday. And now I can be sure that I will remember to look at this article again in the future. And now about organization of OneNote. I think at first you should just dump everything in one place, and then when you have like 20, 30 notes, you will naturally start to see patterns, and you will naturally just add a few sections here, and then you will probably start a couple of notebooks, and it will grow organically. And the next step would be to review OneNote like a year from now and see now from top down how you can improve the structure that grew organically. I do this every year.